Hello viewers and welcome to another match of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. My name is Mitch and I am the Hive Tyrant. Today it is with great honor that I have the opportunity to present you with the 2015 Conquest LCG Russian National Championship match. This is the 8th and final game sent in by Anton Elizarov, and whichever player walks away the victor today stands to be crowned the 2015 Russian National Champion. Sitting to the right, holding our initiative token, we once again see Pavel Illichev, whom is going to be playing as Packmaster Kith, and to the left, we have Vasily Gudkov, whom is going to instead be piloting Ragnar Blackmane. Kith's opening deploy action is going to be playing a copy of her signature army unit, Kith's Chimera Masters, out to planet number 1. For the cost of 2, it's got a command icon, 1 attack, 2 hit points, and it also allows you to generate a 2 attack, 1 hit point creature trait Chimera token at that same planet. And Ragnar reacts by, for the cost of 2, playing a Catachan Outpost, installing that support in his HQ. That is an Astra Militarum faction card that as a combat action you can exhaust it to grant any of your units an ephemeral +2 attack value bonus which persists for that unit's next attack that phase, and generally the best target for that effect is Ragnar, considering he's unique and therefore immune to Archon's terror. And something critically important to consider is that our first 4 planets all have printed blue technology icons, so this could stand to be a very quick championship match indeed. At planet number 1, Kith plays out a copy of the 2-cost Warlock Destructor, 1 command icon, 3 attack, 4 hit points, but you've got to invest an additional resource in it or discard it during each and every subsequent deploy phase it exists. Also at planet number 1, played out by Ragnar, we've got a monumentally powerful unit in the 2-cost Tactical Squad Cardenas, 1 command icon, 1 attack, 3 hit points, but it's got area effect 1, and that could potentially kill off any number of Chimera tokens in wounded DE or Eldar units. At planets number 4 and 5, Ragnar's played out copies of Rattling Deadeye, 1 cost, 1 command icon, 1 attack, 1 hit point apiece, and they've also got the ranged keyword, but they potentially have been deployed outside of Kith's earliest possible victory condition. And at the opposite end of the table, we've got a pair of economy units for Kith. At planet number 4, we've got a copy of the now promoted Rogue Trader, 1 cost, a modified 3 command icons, and a +1 resource bonus. And at planet number 5, we've got the ever popular Void Pirate, 1 cost, 1 command icon, and a +1 card bonus. That is currently being denied by that Rattling Deadeye sitting opposite it at that same planet. At planet number 2, Ragnar puts out a copy of Void Pirate for a bit of card bonus of his own, and at present we're deciding where exactly we want to send our Warlords. Keep in mind, Kith is going to be generating a Chimera token wherever she goes, and if Ragnar ends up sent to the same planet as the enemy Warlord, that is going to allow Ragnar to deal 2 points of damage to any enemy unit. And if Ragnar has a Primal Howl in hand, that may also be 3 cards drawn off the top of his deck. So, where do our Warlords go? Kith goes to planet number 2, Ragnar goes to planet number 1. That is going to allow Ragnar to steal initiative at that planet and potentially kill off some of that mountain of DE units. So, Ragnar's going to end up winning command at planet number 1. That's going to be a card and a resource for him. Planet number 2 is going to go to Kith. That's going to be a resource and a card for Kith, and it's going to be potentially Kith killing off that copy of the enemy economy unit there. Planet number 3 is going to be no contest. Planet number 4 is going to be 2 cards and a resource to the right for Kith. And it looks like Kith is playing Superiority. I can only imagine that that Superiority is going to be at planet number 5, so that's going to be a card and a resource invested in shutting down the command icon associated with that Rattling Deadeye, and therefore that is going to be an incredible 3 cards earned by Packmaster Kith, so good on you, Pavel, fantastic play, even if Superiority is a monumentally divisive card. But we're going to see planets planet number 1 and 2 see combat. I stuttered there because that unexpected copy of Archon's Terror, removing Tactical Squad Cardenas from that planet, and that is a crippling blow because this could be a very quick game, and if Tactical Squad Cardenas is not going to be able to deal damage to all of those units, if it's going to be showing up to a subsequent planet exhausted, that could be the advantage Kith needs to win this one. Catachan Outpost bolsters Ragnar up to an attack value of 4. Looks like he's directing an attack at that Warlock Destructor. That is going to be a copy of Archon's Terror discarded as a shield, and that's going to be a copy of Crushing Blow, augmenting that mitigated value of 3 back up to 4. That is going to be a dead copy of Warlock Destructor. The Kith's Chimera Masters and the Chimera Token end up taking their respective swings. That's going to be 3 points of damage in total dealt out to Ragnar Blackmane, and let's see if he can end up winning this planet. Aatrox Prime is on the line. That generally affords you the opportunity to pick the enemy HQ or an adjacent planet, and to deal 1 point of damage to each and every enemy unit at that location. So let's see how this ends up being resolved. Ragnar technically has the initiative, therefore it's going to be his choice whether or not to retreat. If Kith is holding on to a lot of shield cards, it's entirely possible that Ragnar could end up being bloodied. So that's going to be Ragnar staying. That's going to be our DE unit staying. That's going to be a dead Chimera token. That is going to be a Kith's Chimera Masters dealing out a point of damage to Ragnar. That will be the Chimera Masters retreating. That is Ragnar winning the planet. Aatrox Prime fires. Kith takes a point of damage. The Chimera token is going to be killed, and now things are not looking so good for Packmaster Kith, because that is going to be a red and a blue icon added to Ragnar's victory display. But Kith survives. Kith kills the Void Pirate, and Planum is going to shift the Kith's Chimera Masters to our current planet number 1. So it's going to be up to Kith to try to block off her opponent from winning some of these planets. We see an HQ phase come and go. That's 4 resources, 2 cards for each of our players. If only I knew what exactly they had in their hands, but we've already seen 2 copies of Archon's Terror gone. We could see Clavak's Warleader, a supreme value card, radically alter the outcome of this game, but Ragnar is already sitting at 4 points of damage. Our new 5th final planet is going to be Iridial, the healing planet, but if you drop off Tactical Squad Cardenas at that planet, that could definitely suck. We've got an Honored Librarian now being deployed to planet number 1. That's a 4/2 unit with a command icon for the cost of 3, and provided you've got another unit at that planet, which does not happen to be named Honored Librarian, and rest assured there are several Space Marine units that are not named Honored Librarian, as well as neutrals and as well as AM allied units. Generally, it's pretty easy to keep Honored Librarians alive, and they deal out torrents of damage, and they're potentially going to be able to pose a big threat to Packmaster Kith or Warlock Destructors or Bloodied Reavers we might end up seeing play. Kith puts out a copy of Incubus Warrior to planet number 4. That is a 2-cost, 3 attack value, 1 hit point, 2 command unit. It's going to allow Kith to potentially reel in 3 cards from that planet, and it looks like Kith is trying to assess earliest possible victory conditions. Kith could go for planets 2, 4, and 5 and win through green strongpoint icons, but it's looking like Pavel is having a lot of difficult decisions to make. We see a Tactical Squad Cardenas being put out to planet number 1. That, again, is a 3 hit point unit. It's a lot to chew through, in a sense. It's an area effect 1 unit. It could kill off a lot of Chimera tokens, a lot of wounded units, and it's difficult to kill, and until you do kill it, that is going to be the Honored Librarian dealing out enormous chunks of damage to whatever opposes it. Planet number 2, Kith's got a copy of Rogue Trader. Kith has a promotion on the Rogue Trader sitting at planet number 3, and Kith, of course, is also winning command at planet number 4. Kith doesn't have any units in her HQ, so therefore she's readily able to show up wherever she would like. Ragnar could go to planet number 2, or Ragnar could go to planet number 1. If Kith goes to planet number 1, Kith is going to potentially face the Honored Librarian, resulting in her being bloodied, possibly with the assistance of the Catachan Outpost in Crushing Blow. So let's see what, if anything, Kith can do to try to stave off this AM onslaught. Just as I expected, Ragnar shows up at planet number 2 to potentially set himself up for a victory condition the following round. He drops off that Tactical Squad Cardenas, and planet number 1, Planum, that is on the line, could allow him to relocate that Honored Librarian also to planet number 2. Kith shows up to planet number 5, and let's talk command struggles. Planet number 1, that's going to be a card and a resource to the left to Ragnar. Planet number 2 is going to be a resource to Ragnar. Planet number 3 is going to be 2 cards to the right for Packmaster Kith. Planet number 4 is going to be 3 cards in total for Packmaster Kith. And planet number 5 is also going to be a card for Packmaster Kith. But that is a hell of a lot of cards, you may tell yourself, but you definitely need resources to pay for some of those effects. Looks like planet number 1 is handily going to be won by the Honored Librarian, killing off that copy of the 2 hit point Kith's Chimera Masters. That is going to be Planum captured, and therefore that exhausted copy of Honored Librarian is going to be deposited upon planet number 2. Battle at planet number 2. Ragnar is going to take a swing. That is going to be a very dead rogue trader, and it is indeed obliterated. It disappears into a fine mist of gore and viscera, and I'm sure Ragnar is just licking his lips and just reveling in how disgusting that fragrant display of power was. But Kith is going to win a battle entirely uncontested. At the 5th planet, she pulls a whopping 1 damage token off of herself, and it's all going to come down to this. So the championship is on the line. Is Kith going to be able to do anything to resist this almost insurmountable onslaught of Space Marines? Let us see what exactly is going to be happening. So our HQ phase is in the process of being resolved. That is 4 resources and 2 cards for each of our players. Note that Pavel clearly indicated that he's only acquiring 4 resources and only drawing 2 cards. He's not as terrible a person as Pearson Payne. And let us see how this possibly last round gets resolved. So it's all going to be up to our players. What did they draw? What is at their disposal? Ragnar's going to be able to show up at planet number 1. Kith has got the initiative token, therefore it's going to be Kith's opportunity to trigger a reaction first. Kith could generate a Chimera token, then Ragnar could kill it. Or Kith could choose not to generate a token and Ragnar could damage something else, and then Kith could generate a token. Or Kith could not generate a token and Ragnar could not damage anything. All right, we see Ragnar's war camp being put into play, and that means that at the same planet as your Warlord, any Space Wolves faction unit deals double damage to the enemy Warlord, and with the assistance of Catachan Outpost, that means that Ragnar is potentially going to be swinging for a modified, like, +2 multiplied by 2, total of 8 against Packmaster Kith, and that is absolutely horrifying. So will Kith show up at the first planet just to be bloodied, just to drop off a Chimera token? Only time will tell. At planet number 5, we've got a copy of the signature army unit for Ragnar. It's a Blackmane Sentinel, 2 cost, 1 command, 2/2 unit, and as a reaction, whenever your Warlord is commit to a planet, if you want, you can move the Blackmane Sentinel away from that planet, which I can imagine is going to be happening, considering that Slith Mercenary sitting opposite that planet. For the cost of 1, it's a 2 command, 2 attack, 2 hit point unit that either player can purchase as an action for the investment of 2 resources. We do see that Blackmane Sentinel move, and Kith is going to show up at planet number 1. Ragnar is going to show up at planet number 1. Ragnar brings that exhausted tactical squad Cardenas with him, and now let us see what exactly is going to be happening here. So at planet number 1, Kith's got a copy of Bloodied Reavers, 2/2 for 2. It gets a +2 attack value bonus whenever a Warlord is present. Siren Zithlex at that planet, 3 cost, 2 command, 2 attack, 3 hit points. It exhausts any units that are deployed at that planet, anything coming in from a drop pod assault. Planet number 1, Ragnar is going to have a total of 3 command icons relative to the Dark Eldar's 3, so that's going to be nothing for either of our players. Planet number 2 is going to be 2 cards to the right for Packmaster Kith. Planet number 3 is also, well, it's actually going to be 3 cards for Packmaster Kith. Planet number 4 is going to be 1 resource and 1 card to the left for Ragnar, and planet number 5 is going to be a card and a resource for Packmaster Kith. So let's hope for Kith's sake, Kith stumbled across some incredible stuff, because this is going to be pretty damn difficult for Kith to try to surmount. So we've seen the Blackmane Sentinel relocated, we've seen Kith generate a token, but we've yet to see Ragnar. All right, whatever it was that Ragnar tried to kill, presumably that Bloodied Reavers, that is going to be a copy of Raid, discarded, 2-value shield card blocking off that effect entirely. Note, Kith has the initiative token, and therefore I can only imagine that you're either going to want to attack with Kith because she's about to get obliterated by Ragnar Blackmane, or it's going to be that Bloodied Reavers attacking for 4. But fortunately, I guess that Blackmane Sentinel Sentinel could attack for 2, modified up to 4 against the enemy Warlord, courtesy of that Ragnar's War Camp, that 3-cost card there. Looks like we see a superiority being played, and I can only imagine that's going to be at planet number 4, so that is going to shut off a card and a resource for Ragnar Blackmane. And like I was saying before, let's hope Kith came across some really tasty stuff, because she's definitely fighting an uphill battle. 2 Tactical Squad Cardenas and an Honored Librarian are going to be rather difficult to beat, plus the Catachan Outpost, plus Ragnar's War Camp. The Bloodied Reavers takes a swing at something, and that is going to be a Bloodied Ragnar Blackmane. I definitely was not expecting that, but let's see if our Space Marine has attained the critical mass required to beat up the enemy here. So Blackmane Sentinel is going to take a swing, but at what? Ragnar's War Camp should no longer be functioning, because Ragnar is no longer sitting at that planet, and that is going to be a Searing Brand discarded to block that damage. All those shield cards are definitely paying off for Kith, and let's see how this is going to go. If Kith can manage to win this fight, she's got an economy that could potentially allow her to win this game. That's going to be a Chimera token dealing out 2 points of damage to that Tactical Squad Cardenas, but we do not have a sufficient number of resources. You require more minerals, not enough for a Clavax War Leader. Therefore, Tactical Squad Cardenas survives. It's going to deal area effect 1. That is potentially going to be a dead Chimera token. That's going to be a wounded Bloodied Reavers. We'll have to see if Crushing Blow is going to be a thing. It's going to be a wounded Packmaster Kith and a wounded Siren Zithlex as well. So let us see, what are we going to see in regard to shielding? Looks like we see 3 cards discarded as shields. That's going to be an Archon's Terror, and I think that was a raid, and then something else. So that's going to be no damage to any of those units. Unfortunately, Kith did not have a sufficient number of resources to use Archon's Terror to simply remove that from the planet, and now what exactly are we going to see? Will we see our Space Marine get effectively robbed? Siren Zithlex is going to kill that Tactical Squad Cardenas. Do we have any resource tokens for anything along the lines of Drop Pod Assault or not? The Honored Librarian takes a swing, and that is going to be a bloodied Packmaster Kith. Very nicely done. So Kith is off of that planet. That means the Bloodied Reavers is only going to be attacking for 2, and there is a Tactical Squad Cardenas to chew through. Note that our Dark Eldar player is going to have the opportunity to attack first. He wisely decides to do so with that Chimera token. No retreats from either of our players. That Chimera token is going to be targeting that Blackmane Sentinel. We see Indomitable discarded as a shield. That's going to be 1 point of damage to the Blackmane Sentinel. The Sentinel takes a swing at Siren Zithlex. Interesting play. That is going to be 2 points of damage dealt out to her, and that is going to be a crushing blow. So Siren Zithlex is going to be killed, and that Bloodied Reavers takes a swing at Tactical Squad Cardenas. No, it's going to be the Blackmane Sentinel. The Blackmane Sentinel is going to be killed. I guess that Honored Librarian, by the way, was operating under the influence of Catachan Outpost. That is why Kith was bloodied, and that is going to just be that Honored Librarian. So that is going to be a dead Chimera, and that is going to be a dead Bloodied Reavers, and that is going to be it. That is the GG. Congratulations, good game. That is Vasily Gudkov being crowned the 2015 Russian national champion. So congratulations to him once again, but of course a very well played game by Pavel Illichev all the same. So Packmaster Kith ended up crumpling under the relentless onslaught of the bloodthirsty Ragnar Blackmane. That was a hell of a match. I'm glad I had the opportunity to share this one with all of you. Thank you again to Anton Elizarov for allowing me to spectate this game, to commentate this match, and of course to publish this video on my channel. So I very much hope you enjoyed this game. I hope you enjoyed the entire series of 8 separate matches which together chronicled the entire 2015 Russian national national championship. And once again, congratulations to Vasily Gudkov for managing to pilot Ragnar Blackmane to win the national championship. So, fantastic game. Thank you so much to each and every one of you out there for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed this content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already, or if you are already subscribed, as ever, you're always encouraged to share this content, because the more individuals there are that stumble upon fantastic games like this one, the more players we may draw to Conquest LCG, and of course, together, we all send an increasingly great message to Fantasy Flight Games telling them to continue to support this fantastic product. If you would ever like to get in touch with me, I would encourage you to do so through Facebook or on Twitter, and if you'd ever like to support the Hive Tyrant, I would be absolutely honored, humbled, and deeply appreciative were you to donate $1 or $2 on a strictly monthly basis. It definitely isn't much, but it nevertheless does a tremendous amount in helping me to recoup some of my file hosting and operating expenses, and each and every additional dollar is reinvested into improving the audio and video quality of the content I produce for this channel. So, once again, thank you so much for watching, and as always, be sure to check back in again soon for much more Conquest LCG content to come.